Thank you. No, matter of fact. That's just it. It's the point. It's short, sweet. Thank you.
Hey, Richard, here's final stuff.
I just got it in the mail today. You do, but I always look at it on Lonnie.
Okay, we got Lonnie, Mike, Chief. We have a quorum, so we're good. How do we get started? In the agenda, we turned on recording, and the first thing we want to do is, has everybody read and reviewed Peg's meetings, minutes from last week? Can I have a motion to accept them?
Is this like going to the dentist?
Yeah, it is.
Almost.
Anyone motion to accept it?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Second.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm speaking, good. The outcome of the select board meeting. I thought it went pretty well, all in all. Actually, we got the support of you guys, and Dave, I don't know, what do you think of the overall thing?
Pretty good.
And we went to the attorney to ask them to start working on the warrant. Dave did that.
Okay, good, that's good.
And that's,
Warrant and,
yeah,
Hmm.
that's moving along. The things that the committee needs to take a look at this evening is that we should probably, and Dave reminded me, we should select what option we wanted for the warrant. We're all kind of zoned in at the meeting that we do the 13.1 as an option, but the board here collectively, the committee here hasn't really said that's the option they want. So the second packet you have on the last page, we can go back to the other details. The last page shows option 1 and option 2, or I should say 3.0 and 3.1. And with that,
You have an extra packet?
oh yeah, I do, I'm sorry.
Oh, Amy's gonna need one too.
Amy? So we had the 3.0 option. And before you took the things we knocked off the plan, it was at 17 million roughly. And the other one was 15.2. Then as a committee, we wanted to try to cost save this thing a bit. And if I'll refresh your memories on design option 3.1, that's where we took the basement portion out of the front of the building and eliminated that square footage, but he was able to configure rooms a little smaller here and there, but got all the functionality into the building. So that looked like, that was a driving factor in option 3.1. Three additional things we looked at was doing a siding substitute rather than a hardboard or hardwood to vinyl siding, but a good quality grade. The other thing is the PV arrays for the solar arrays. If we don't put them on, and we will put them on if we can find money, but right now, we don't have the money. We pulled that number out to 175,000. And then the road construction was in the original piece that we really don't need if we're just getting down to the senior center. It saves $1 million. So we come to the difference in option 3.0 and 3.1 of $1.8 million, roughly. 14,917 to 13 million. So as a committee, we at the meeting, I was leaning towards the fact we'd save money and do the 13.1. And the road was a no-brainer for me because there's no place else for the road to go at this time. The PVC array, I think if we can find solar funding, we'll consider that. And the siding substitute, I'm okay with that. I think the maintenance of the vinyl siding of high quality is probably easier to maintain than sometimes a painted product. So I would like to see this group recommend a number. Anybody want to discuss the differences of the options or have any feelings one way or the other?
So
talking about, so just the last page,
Yeah.
the 3.0 or 3.1,
3.1.
and both of them include the garage, is that?
Yes, the garage is just a framed in, it's not finished in sheet rock.
Okay, I see.
It's
okay.
it's a shell.
Okay, so a structure,
A structure, it has doors,
okay.
and it's functional. It
Does
just
it have a floor?
It has a floor.
Oh, well, I remember Morris.
Cement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of Morris.
Yeah, no, it's concrete. It's just, it's $300,000 to not drywall, insulate, and electric. I mean, we can do it a lot cheaper than 300,000. We build another building for 300,000.
Yeah.
Finished.
Okay.
That I think is a project that could happen
Yeah.
shortly after it's built.
Yeah.
The project's done.
I don't
And if
remember
there's
what,
money in the contingency, we can finish it with that too.
Yes,
Sure.
right.
but
We're not
I,
using the contract, do a separate
right.
contract.
It doesn't need the 20%.
So that's the major items. Any other questions? In the back of this packet, I'm sorry I went to the bottom line. You see the various floor plans and designs for the 3.0 and the 3.1, which knocks out the basement. And I think as Mike Petrovic and John would say, we're going to go through a couple more design reiterations to get down to the final studs. Room size, the rooms may tweak a little bit.
I don't think you'll get the final until, you won't go get a final until the vote happens, it's approved, the ballot approves. Then when it goes to the real design, that's when it's gonna be real-time estimates along with the design and adjustments we'll have to make, so you stick with the number at that point. Now, what we see here is a good conception of it, like it was with the PD, but we lost our gym, we lost 1,000 square feet. We lost some stuff between the actual approval and then the final design.
We'll have to see where we go.
Yeah.
We have a large contingency.
Exactly.
And we talked about the contingencies. I think it's $1.2 million. It's over $1 million. And that's at a 12% factor. And if we do due diligence on this thing, I think we can keep it.
Yeah, you have the escalator built into it. We didn't have it with PD, so I think we should be good there.
Yeah, there's a $500,000 in escalation too. For considering we're building in the spring of 25.
Are we gonna go for a rounded off number? You know, that makes sense to me rather than all this.
I guess we were looking at a rounded number of 13.2.
Yeah.
It's a round-up factor. I'll give one of these.
So sorry, so what's the number? The rounded up number is 13.2.
13.2, top money.
So I mean, just in to maybe save some time, I would make a motion that we go with the option of the 13.2 million.
All in favor? All in favor?
Probably get a roll call because they're.
Yeah, roll call, I guess.
Tenio,
Lonnie?
aye.
Mike A, aye.
Okay, who else is out there? I'm sorry, we got this thing stuck in the middle.
It's two, I think.
Is that it? Okay. Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
bye.
aye, unanimous.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, Dave, maybe you want to give us an update of what you're doing with the legal for the warrant thingy?
So I got the drop dead dates to get it valid in the warrant, and I got it over to Karis, our legal counsel, and gave her all the information she needs to build both of them. So I sent that over at the beginning of the week, but I'll follow up with her and stay on it. The drop dead date.
Was it March
When was
14th?
March?
March 14th for the town meeting, and the article, March 26th. But I would like them, like next week.
Oh, great.
Well, I'd like them today, but I'll settle for next week.
3/14, what date?
That's for town meeting.
Town meeting, and the
The
3/26?
Is for the ballot.
Okay, great, thanks. I just want to clarify that.
Okay, so we drive for that, okay. The other things, just as a side note, and I'll be going to the Conservation and Preservation meeting, which is Thursday,
I'm going to.
and you're welcome to join us too.
Thank you. Where is this and when? At the town hall, 7
Town hall.
o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Thursday night.
We're going to be presenting there
You can meet
an
PJs.
article or requirement or request for recreation.
Yeah,
We should be getting something from Mike Petrovic and team for the basketball court, which is a new item we'll talk about, pickleball, and the shuffleboard and bocce. So we're going to get an estimate from Mike. We're going to carry that forward to that committee, request they fund it through their CPA funds. If our center passes, their warrant would go forward, or their article, whichever one, I always get those mixed up, would go forward for that piece. The basketball court came into play in talking, Peg and.
I talked to Dan Byer because I play pickleball, but I've always played on a basketball court. They just draw blue lines in, it's not a special court. So I just said to him, what the cost, are they comparable? And he said it would be really great if you could put in a basketball court. He said, we only have one. It's in high demand. He said, and that really would be happily looked upon. So I don't see the difference. I play now on a basketball court.
Yeah, and I think another court in town, any recreation for the town youth in this would be phenomenal.
Well, we are going to be a community center as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Right, have an adult basketball, and maybe other towns surrounding, so they get leagues
You do that too as
going.
well. I mean, it's available for the whole town, but that's clearly, that'll come in from John and Mike tomorrow. I'll turn it around via warrant at the meeting on Thursday. I think it is Thursday night. So in that piece, I think John indicated that from the estimator, it was like $50,000 more
it
potentially
was higher than.
to put a basketball court in.
Yeah,
But if you're going to build all that infrastructure to begin with, to get a lit basketball court, the kids don't have one to play on, I think it's a good idea. So
it'll be a multi-use.
a multi-use. So I guess I'm going to proceed with that, but is the board or the committee approve all that, or do I need to get that? Add that functionality to as a side piece, or can I just?
I think you can vote on it once we have it, but to explore it and get it all and bring it to the board, just to make sure that we're all in agreement that that's what you're gonna have to the project. I would say that's probably the proper protocol.
Okay. And the protocol I need help on. The other piece is Ann should be bringing forward an article that if our position passes, they would use CPA money to get a consultant or a designer to look at what an ADA capable path would be and how much it would cost to pay that person to design it for us. The goal would be to link it up from the senior center down to Muddy Brook. There's some money out there for a bridge that I keep hearing about, a bridge to somewhere. And it was donated by someone. So if we get something connected there, we could have a bridge over Muddy Brook. And it could connect to all the trails that we like in the town. So this has some possibilities, and I think I'm looking for Ann to bring that article forward. I will come back with a rough sketch of that in the meeting Thursday, but I'm looking for her to pull it forward.
I think you should also present that particular piece to David Colton based on this morning's meeting.
It was down on the list, but we can talk about it again. Yeah.
No, I mean, if we don't have to spend CPA funds, we can allocate those other places. So there's a meeting this morning looking at, talking to the Collins Center about grants, but that specific description you just gave probably has grants out there in terms of ADA accessible, connectivity across walking paths in the Blackstone Valley. That type of thing might actually have some funding out there. If you don't have to use CPC.
I will bring that up at Ann's meeting because she understands the grants pretty well. And if David comes back with some ideas, we can connect it to. Yeah, by all means, but she seems pretty.
I'll push David.
That's just a side topic. We can bring that up now. Just to follow up on grants and money. In one of the meetings, the capital meeting, Jody put together a meeting with David from the Collins Group. And he's a resource that the town can use. I don't know what it costs, but he's going to research possibilities for grants. He's going to get back to us in a few days. And my biggest issue on grants is everybody knows how to do their focus grants. But nobody knows how, I haven't found a person that knows what's the way to find everything you need to know possible for this thing. Is it a FEMA grant? Is it an emergency center grant? Is it an ADA grant? I don't know there's an easy way to sort through all that. So we asked Collins to kind of figure that out and come back to us and say, is there a roadmap, and give me a URL and give me some support to say this is feasible or not, so we don't just waste all that time. We'll see what happens in a couple of days. But we want to go chase that grant. I know, Mark, that's the meeting we had this morning. That's the one that, I haven't seen you driving that with the Collins guy, Dave.
Mhm.
And then there was the other element that came up in the meeting. He said it's an ideal location to do a multi-phase project to look at bigger grants and bigger possibilities. I don't particularly like going there, but because they said, well, if we're going to build something like multi-use down below the road system, if you're already, I said, phase one is the senior center and this stuff. Mike obviously brought up in a master plan somewhere we need to get to thinking about that whole property. Because we could get some synergy around wells and synergy around other things. And I don't know, Mike, if you want to explain your thoughts on that.
Well, just that, I mean, we have, there are many ideas out there for the larger use within that parcel, whether it's the housing production plan meeting or, you know, the overlay zones for mixed use that, you know, we passed for 16, things like that, affordable housing. The point being is David spoke, he just says, well, you know, if you add housing, and part of it said, well, do we need to start making more decisions, if you will, about what our direction is on the parcel? So we could describe a multi-phase project, not to delay phase one, but if you present a multi-phase project, we have a senior center with some housing and commercial built in, you potentially get the opportunity for more opportunity for different grants. So it's more of a longer term view of the development of that parcel, but the takeaway, honestly, Phil, for me was I think the select board and planning and folks have to come to have a little bit of a discussion to say, well, what is our intent? 'Cause ideas come and go. We heard one come up at the select board, which surprised, you know, it was a look back at the fire station.
Talking about all these things
Yeah.
going on to go in there, but you're kind of pushing aside the fire station, and I seem to think that the fire station should be going.
Well, I mean, I think if you think about, there was a fairly strong voice on that idea. But, you know, that's been bandied about and having other conversations. Other stakeholders in the fire station had a different idea about possibly looking at, you know, geographic annexes. So, you know, because the reality of possibly moving the fire station or building net new, that'll be a tougher sell, I think, than the senior center. You know, because we have a fire station, people do it. Really? It makes all the sense.
There's no data behind it. Usually when you do a new building, like we did with the police station for years, there were studies done, there was analysis done. It was data-driven facts based on our call volume, our housing for the prisoners, the state regulations.
Yeah.
There's no, and when we built that fire station, there was studies to get us into that fire station. So right now it's just.
But the primary reason in terms of the location, I don't think we can dismiss that. That's a real thing. It's a better access point to the town as a whole, but.
I don't know, because the reason that was put there was it literally is geographically in the middle of the town. Literally within 100 feet.
I'm just
Yeah,
repeating what I
if
heard.
you get a map, it's literally geographically in the center, because that was the idea of buying that property, is that they were originally gonna put the police station there and make town businesses there, because it was literally geographically in the center of town, dead center.
But until the town decides what they want to do with that parcel, new and different, better ideas will come up.
Exactly.
With every conversation.
I
That's
think we
my
gotta-
point, is we gotta
Move
close.
forward with what we have and not wait
Right.
for the unborn, or not even the unborn, they're not even conceived.
That's right.
People haven't met yet.
Wait when the chicken and the egg start.
You got it. So anyway, that's the discussion. So I think, you know, the planning board and things may come up with ideas, but I'm always, don't delay what we already have a good
Yeah.
solid foundation on. If someone wants to propose, this is a beautiful municipal area, there's 22 acres that people can talk about. And we could, you know, if we make that decision in a year or so, we could change the driveway to be a road. The other project can spend $1 million on it.
I think that the bigger view, though, is more about defraying costs down the road, not securing financing in May, if that makes sense. But it's more of, what's the full story?
I think the full story needs to be built. And I think that whole area would be a nice town area. I've always believed in that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get caught up in this. I don't want
It's a
to,
multi-decade development right there. I mean, we've had for multi-decades and we've done nothing with it. So never mind, once we start actually doing something, this could be the catalyst to actually start doing something. Once you have a town building there and you have life there and you see what that property can turn into, and rezoning, it starts it, you know.
yeah, I think that all works. So anyway, that, we kind of went off, but that's tangents off of the board meeting, what happened. We started looking at more detailed granularity in grants. But to your point, Mark, earlier, unless you have, some.
That's the thing with FEMA and MEMA, unless you have a project and a date. I mean, I've highlighted what's available, but until we get to that point where I can actually apply for something, there's no, I don't even know how much money will even be there then, but
Yeah.
at least we know about them. And we're not gonna wait until then to figure them out.
I think as we build our presentations, Mark, I think the important thing is maybe just list them as possibilities.
Absolutely.
Here are the possible grants we can get from FEMA. Here's the possible grants we can get here's the possible money from CPA.
I'm looking at a community aid grant through Lions International, through the Lions Club. Up to $10,000 at the matching grant, so we'd have to do some fundraising to meet our end of it. But they're using them to build a pavilion like the one that was just built in Milford. The Lions Club was the one that initiated that and helped build that. Another one was built out on the western part of the state using the money that we give to Lions International through the Lions Club. They give back to us. And if we didn't do something along those lines, we can maybe outfit those 2 rooms downstairs with tables and chairs and things along those lines. So that's what I've been trying to, because those I can know that I can get a handle on.
And and you're right, once we have this, get through the 2 phases, there'll be a lot of crazy work to do at that point. So, here's a packet for you. I think the next thing on the meeting, we'll move to communication
Sure.
and messaging. And I took the liberty to do a chart to show the scope of this thing.
Okay, is it in that packet?
It's in the packet. And communications is scheduled for 2 months, March and April. And the list goes on. But it just talks about all the groups that Amy, you provided us names for. We need to get the dates of their meeting at the center, and then we can arrange to do the pre-calls. That's on page 2. Page 1 is, I just put down a bunch of departments that need to be posted. And then somewhere along the line, there's a bunch of committees we need to talk to. Some of them we've already started. And then funding is a thing on the back, but I just put that for an organization piece, but I will turn it over to you, Peg.
Okay, and Carrie can jump in anytime she wants. I do have a question for Mike A. I just realized you're on the FinCom, Mike. Mike?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have any feeling about how this is going to be accepted? Because I know when things go before the town, they always ask how the FinCom feels about it.
I'm not sure how the rest of the members of the FinCom feel about it. I don't think they're in tune to it yet.
Did we invite them to a meeting?
I would suggest that,
Okay.
or Phil and the chief and a couple people go to their meeting.
Present.
Yeah, President, I think.
All right.
I think that's.
When do you meet, Mike?
Thursday.
Well, that's the thing. It's the finance committee's not isn't what it used to be.
Oh, that was a little bit, yeah.
I know the finance committee's meeting this Thursday night. I will not be there. I'm
I don't think
I'm
there's
leaving.
to get it
I'm out
on the
of town
agenda.
for the next week.
Unless it's on
Right.
budget.
All right. All right. Can you let us know then when the next one is upcoming? We can try to get on your agenda.
Who's the chair now?
Mike Krager.
I'll shoot something in my.
Sure.
I plan on going Thursday.
Oh, all right.
I can bring it up.
That would be good, because that way, we were just thinking of that when we were talking about communications. We knew that when it went before the people, they always want to know which way the FinCom leads. Not that that's going to be a deciding factor, but I think that does carry weight.
And I think if,
Well, it's always good to have the finance committee on board.
Yeah. Well, we have you on board, right, Mike? So we just need to.
Absolutely. I'm only one, though.
if capital planning comes up on Thursday, this is actually part of that plan. So we can kind of weave it in there and then set up I'll tee you up, Phil, to say, Phil wants to come and present at the next FinCom meeting.
I want to do that. I was gonna crash that party anyway, because
We'll both crash. You're not expecting it.
I've crashed a lot of parties lately.
Anyway, we looked at the list, we went into the committees on town, and we kind of divided up some of the things, and we were hoping for cooperation from other people. We know that both you people do the capitalization plans, is that what you call it, capitalization plans? Capital planning. Okay, so the Mendon Historical, Karen knows someone on that, so she's going to contact them about us doing a presentation or at least making some stuff available to them. Mark, we were hoping that you would, being the lion,
They're totally against it. No, I'm kidding.
Only did it for
Yes, I have been beating this into their brains since the day I got
If you
here.
want a short presentation,
Sure.
okay, when do you meet?
So they usually meet as a group the last Wednesday, I should take that, the fourth Wednesday of every month.
Okay, so we'll be looking at March.
Yeah, because their April meeting, the district governor will be here, and it's all about him,
Sure.
so.
Mark, I have you guys down as March 13th.
That'll be the board of directors meeting.
Oh, okay,
They really
that's
want to
what-
meet with the whole group.
Okay, yeah, we do want to meet with the whole group.
So if you want to meet with them in March, I can definitely set it up for you. Plan on coming. As far as I know, there's nothing going on that night.
We can bring in some of those posters, some handouts, and answer any questions or whatever. This was Tom's idea, he's not here, of course, chicken. Talking about if we went into some kind of events, looking into a one-day liquor license. I mean, kind of like, like the Rock the Block type thing, I mean, if you have
So
some
that's the
kind.
day of the election. Yeah.
We can put it right out in front of the school.
Definitely.
He has experience with that. Yes.
That's okay with Alan.
But, and Tom will also do the Brothers of the Brush. He's gonna do that at the March meeting, right? We can come if we want. I'm gonna look into the Girl Scouts. I'm gonna get some information from Amy and, look into that. I don't know if anybody's affiliated with the Boy Scouts or have anything to do.
Come to the center.
Right, I know.
Right.
What I would like to do is we'd like to have a presence there, not to give them a presentation because I know they're kids, but I mean, it's parents.
The adults.
Oh, it's the adults. Well, see, I didn't know. And Boy Scouts, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, yeah, Jason on the select board has been involved with
Yeah,
this.
I knew that he had. I saw him in the parade with his kids.
Yeah,
His
and I
sons.
mean, I know,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
at least.
I can relate, I took a couple of kids to scouts and bands, I could call somebody, I don't know these personally, but.
I don't know anyone in scouting, so I just figured I'd throw that out in case anybody knew.
You want me to ask Jason about good contacts for?
That would be helpful.
We have
You
contacts.
have it right there.
You know, I think rather than, I'm concerned about time.
Oh, is that Cadmore? Is that who it is? Marissa? Oh, Marissa
She's
Moore.
there tonight. Actually, she's got a very small Cub Scout troop.
So it's the adults that run that comes to the
The
center?
adults are the first Tuesday of the month of the troop one, adults. And then the Cub Scouts troop meeting is the second Tuesday of the month.
Okay, so on 3/5.
And I'm sorry, I didn't bring April, I just.
No, that's okay. No, that's all right.
That's all, 3/5.
Yep.
Well, then
Well, this would
I
be.
know. Sorry, I know Suzanne's way off, so it's.
Yeah, so she She hasn't been at the center, she's still a presence, but she hasn't been there for probably 3 or 4 months. Because, the girls are aging out,
Yeah.
so we have a lot of new, younger troops. Like yesterday, we had Lauren Tatro was there, her troop.
I'm gonna look into the library. I'm gonna go up and talk to Andrew and find out if we can put a poster up there and have handout. Just because people come in, getting library books and
So
things.
we need a new set of collateral that I need to get from Mike, updated things. From poster, the images should look better.
Right,
And we need to tweak it because it's, yeah, okay.
that's the library. And, we talked a little bit about the school committees, but we didn't get too much. We were wondering if we should put, you know how you had the flyer in the newsletter? We were wondering if we should put a flyer in the regular paper. And Tom said he thought that we would only have to pay for Mendon residents, that there's a way of separating it
It's
out.
about $370. So we saved, remember when they went to the new newspaper, we saved money because before when we did our flyer for the food pantry, it was over $400. So it's about $370. You have to pay for the printing of the flyer and then the insertion of it. So, and that, so the people that printed this, are the owners of the newspaper. They're out of Medway.
That was this.
Yep, they're out of
I just got it
Medway.
in my mailbox today.
And they'll, yep, so they'll do the printing. They'll bring it over to the newspaper. And again, about $370.
And is that one side or two sides?
It's just one side.
And if you did it two-sided, it'd be some amount more.
Yeah.
Well,
And that only goes to Mendon. Because I mean, I feel like
Tom said we
the, it's really striking in color.
Okay, so the color, I know, the color was 24 cents and this is 7 cents, so
Okay.
that's why we went with this.
what do you think? You
I
think
think-
that's a good use of money?
I think it's excellent.
I think it's an excellent use.
Well, we were just
It's
thinking,
just, the timing is of the essence, so
I know.
This is the March, right?
that's March, but then the newspaper comes out on like the 11th or 12th. Okay, and so that's gonna, and then the next one won't be out till April 11th or 12th, so we just kind of decide where you wanna.
Yeah, I really think we want to oversaturate because we only have 2 months.
We're only gonna send it out once though.
Well, we should try to do the next one. And then maybe a different reminder in the following one.
Well, maybe we should do it in April then, because it would be closer in their mind to the date.
What about if we ask the Friends to kick in another $600, $500 to do it twice?
Well, let me just
Take it up.
digest for a minute, because one of the other things we talked about was doing some kind of a straw poll. What are people thinking? What would your views be about a senior center? Would you support a new senior center? Karen and I both were talking about putting it on Facebook.
Right.
The Mendon page and the senior center page, and I can get John to do the Friends page.
Yeah.
And also, Tom thought it might be a good idea to be sure we add things like why we need it, what the building cost would be. Again, with the 28%, the size of the community that it's representing. And he thought it might be a good idea to have a section for FAQs, frequently asked questions. And then the final thought we had, and we don't really know too much about this, but we were wondering if the expansion committee should have their own Facebook page, or if we should wait until it's approved, and then we can put progress on. Those were just what we had a meeting yesterday, was it yesterday?
Yeah. My concerns about all the multiple Facebook pages, we're a small town. Where do you go for your information? I would rather try to drive it to the community page and use that as our filter,
Are you talking about
That's it.
Karen's page, or are
Yeah.
you talking about the community newspaper?
community page, rather than a Facebook.
Yeah,
I guess you mentioned a Facebook page for
because Karen's
us.
is on Facebook. Oh, yes, eventually, yes. We were thinking maybe we should have our own page.
Maybe after it's in progress, you could do a progress update of construction, maybe.
I don't know, is there a,
Right, that people could check in and see what's going on.
What kind of
And ask
presence
questions.
is there on the town website? Because I wonder, for frequently asked questions, I feel like it should be like a static as opposed to like a Facebook page.
right, well, where would that go? Because you'll have to fill me in on
And
that.
not on that flyer, it was stated that there was a presence on that.
Right, so I mean, I feel like that, if that were updated, because you can then link to that from the Facebook pages, like, I don't know, like, here's a question that people asked, and here are some more questions, and then link to it.
Good idea.
Now,
But-
who monitors the town webpage? Who does that? Is that Dan
It's
Byer?
mostly Dan Byer, but do you post the minutes? Dan does, okay,
Dan does everything in this town.
okay.
Just
If
a-
we, yes,
So, yeah, it says we have a page on the town of Mendon.
Yeah, I wrote
Yeah,
that.
so-
But do we?
there's a.
No, we do.
We have the committee page, but so,
Senior
but you,
center.
But there's
You can-
nothing,
there's nothing
there's
there.
nothing on the news, there's nothing on the bulletin.
Right, so like, I think, right,
Nothing on the
we,
quick links, that's where
and,
it needs to
and
go.
like, the other place is the splash page for this town site, that would be another good thing to like have.
I don't know what
up
that is.
there,
What's a
like-
splash page?
Isn't that what they call it? When like the thing that comes up, like the first page you see?
First page, it keeps
That
popping
picture
in.
should be right where the house is.
That's-
That,
Yeah, that's
Right
what I'm
there.
thinking. So like, so the town website has these like, sort of like ads
little
almost,
square
but like
little
things like
bar.
town news and things. So like if we had one saying like, come see our, like, you know, with this picture, is colors free online. And then it could connect to the site and then we could have like details about like, you know, why it's needed.
All right, well, we can
Um,
get Dan involved with that then.
If we can do something like the police station building, if you go to that link, with all sublinks about discussion and actions, documented drawings, feasibility study.
That was under your
Right.
main page?
Right.
It's still in there, police
Under the
station
town.
We
plans.
could totally put this picture on this
Yeah, that-
page. I mean, that, like, we, and
Who did that for you?
I think he worked with Dan, but Don's long gone. On the beach right now.
Okay.
Well, we realized, you know, I wrote the article and then my husband said, you know, he said, he always plays devil advocate. He said, let me see if I was just Joe on the street and I was trying to look for, and of course, what he immediately went to was the senior center page. To find the expansion, you have to go like down and around. He's like, okay, you know, you better make sure, you better clarify that, because I would just discourage somebody.
I missed that, yeah. Well, those things are great if you have somebody maintain it.
Yeah, we had everything, the town hall campus study, the site analysis.
That's super. We could lift that concept and do the whole thing.
Yeah, he did a good job with Dan.
do you still have, I mean, are those?
It's all still active on here.
Oh,
You
okay.
pick any link, you can find,
From-
feasibility study, you
Is
can
he
find
retired?
plans, you can find how much more is in trial.
I don't have that
Yeah, it's-
capability.
Oh, wow.
Because we could just send people over to that site.
Chief, is he retired?
No, John's retired. Last time I lunch with him like 6 months ago. I can give him a call.
Probably what I was thinking about, even if he would help on a contract basis.
Yeah, so like he has even, we started the study
Oh,
of
yeah.
the campus,
Yeah.
and it's all there.
Right, yeah, this is, right, we need, yeah, this would be good to have, because I know this is where I would look if I didn't know anything about it, I would be like, oh, how can I find out about this? And I would go to the town
That's
website.
the proper.
So like,
That's perfect.
but and Facebook posts can drive people to the
Right.
website, to,
Right.
like, to check it out.
Purposely.
Hey, Lonnie,
Yes?
you know people, in case this person is not available, that could be used to help drive and maintain a Facebook for us? Or not a Facebook, a
No,
town page?
Town page.
A town page for us?
Good one,
Town-
it's like-
I'm confused. What do you want me to do?
it's,
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm
That
sorry,
was-
I didn't
that was
hear
an
you.
earlier
I got the
proposal.
line screwed up.
Yeah,
No,
this is-
sorry. Say again, what are you looking to get done?
The chief was describing the presence of the police station on the town website through the whole bill process with frequently asked questions. And the question, my question to you would be, do you know anyone who we could contract or work with to have that capability in place pre and while we're building the thing? To just manage the web page on the town page.
Yes,
Other than
but
that,
if we, so let me take a look at how it was done with the police station, but I mean, is
This was
it
our original
of uploading the documents that we
station.
already have and labeling them correctly?
That's kind of what you want. It's
I think so, I mean,
Right.
I think,
all the renderings.
yeah.
Yeah, and we probably could take the structure and organization and modify what's on the police station which would be our filing system, I guess, right?
This is way different.
I don't think there's gonna be a lot.
But I don't know,
to maintain.
I'm not technically
No, I
savvy
don't
enough to
think-
figure
yeah.
out how to do all that.
The initial volunteer
And
option.
we can't have Dan to
It's not in my
continue this.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So we need somebody to be able to help us do that. So when we publish a document, it
Yeah,
goes to
so
that.
to have us, to have a page on the site
Pretty fresh.
geared towards the senior center, building itself, yeah, we can, that's a pretty easy task. I'm sure I can assist with that. With just a slight bit of instruction from the vendor or from Dan or from Ellen, who currently know how to do it. I think the key piece is having it, when you go to the website, it needs to be right there in your face though.
Right.
Those are just deep links.
But we could link right to that page in our messaging, correct?
Correct,
Or to the top layer.
correct.
And then we could also link to the banner page in the town website and have a scrolling banner for the next 2 months maybe, or a month and a half, or a month. I'm
Well,
talking
I think that's what I'm talking about. I don't know if we're saying the same thing. So you have a page that's part of the website that's strictly for this. That
Yes,
scrolling banner, that splash screen at the beginning that flips, they generally has information. There's usually 3 items on there, and just make the first one for every hit. Or, make the senior center the first one for right now. And then we'll link it to the page with, we can put a nice picture on it once they link over to it of the actual building, and then list the documents, just list links with names and which link to the actual documents.
Can you help us organize that thought and figure out how to get it done?
Yeah, I can handle that.
I think we probably should also just sit down with Mr. Byer if he was integral in the operationalizing that page and just say, Dan, we want
Can
to
we do
copy
this?
that
Yeah.
for this project. And he might be able to tell Lonnie, well, this is all I did, you know?
I don't know if you heard that, Lonnie, but Dan Byer set up the other page. So maybe talking to him, if you talk to Dan,
Yep.
First option we want to replicate.
Okay, started in the town.
So.
Yes, Dan would be the person that I would speak with. Yep.
Okay, if you could lead the charge on that, that'd be wonderful.
Boards and commissions, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
But you've still got 2 phases too, right? So you're talking about over the next 2 months, how do you train people? And then you've got the longer term, if it passes, right? So that's much more,
Right.
Much more
Sleep.
bigger work that should be built into the building committee.
Well, it should be,
There should be a role.
it's a role within I think there's a role we want to consider in this overhead contract. The OPM and that piece of money that's on the bottom line here. We need to slice out some money to have people do some things for us.
Well, that, and I think something like this, there's a lot of community projects and people looking, whether you're in the honor society, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that are looking for community projects. This would be an ideal community project where you actually get volunteer work. Because the actual maintenance of a website like this is not going to be, well, for me, maybe, but somebody younger than me probably can do this in their sleep, you know what I mean?
Agreed.
I think the bigger key is make sure the proper links are distributed, because the push of the links is what's gonna bring people in. The building of the site's gonna be page is easy.
So where are we gonna leave this? Lonnie's gonna talk to Dan?
Lonnie and Dan will come back and give us, and just start to think about what's setting it up using the chief's page and work directly with
Yeah,
Peg.
I'm gonna look at his page when I get home.
Peg and Tom
And Karen.
and Karen are really trying to head up the communication, so we need to start funneling all the source material to them to begin with. And then Lonnie, if you use those, that would be the archive of the final pitch from the architect, the final pitch from the engineer, and take us all the way through. So there'd be one funnel point, that group there that can distribute this out to the various locations. Use it for print material, use it for the website,
Yep.
use it for Facebook posts, add a picture into it, and just make all that happen. And to get some volunteer help where we can.
Okay, that
So
sounds great.
whoever's reaching out to BVT as an example, is I'm part of this community, somebody's sitting down with BVT, not only do they have possibly help with actual work, but do they actually have resources to do something like this? So what are all the aspects of support you might be looking for? Not just, I mean, I see BVT, they're not gonna vote per se, but they're a stakeholder and should help you bring it online, you know what I mean?
Yeah, BBT, someone mentioned to me that BBT does such an excellent job in getting grants.
Mhm.
That we should-
Fitzpatrick.
And he's got a grant team, people who really focus on it. And somebody suggested somebody would go talk to them to figure out how he does this and give us some advice and go through. You know, maybe it's my stupidity, but people say I can get a grant done and they go ahead and do that, but as a town or as a project, I don't know. I want to write these grants. Well, what are they? Well, you can go here, you can go here. And I don't want to be, it's not critical, it's just we don't have a focus that really says, how can we get, maybe we call it community development in a different way and fund it a different way. And look, but that's a different, I'm sorry. I'm tired today. I quit. Quit talking.
Sorry.
Motion denied.
Okay, Peg, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, and we met for an hour yesterday and these are just ideas we came across and we kind of divided up the list. And like I said, we knew that Mark's a lion and, so just figured better from your own. The one thing that we all decided on was that it's really going to be good. It's going to be good to talk to the people first that are actually using the center because they know the size. When you talk to a group of people and they've never stepped foot in the center, they have no idea of how close it is in there, how limited. But people who are using it all the time now, they know. And they know they're in competition with other agencies who want to use the center, but we only have a limited amount of space. So we want to start with them and hope that we get a good response from that and not get discouraged.
I think you'll see, that's also, we'll gather votes that way too. More support.
Hopefully, they like using it now. And we welcome any suggestions anybody has because.
I was talking to the club about even sponsoring one of those rooms. They would put their name on the door and give a donation once a year, once a quarter, whatever, to help, put some back into that room for the use of the room. We've been looking for a long time to find a place to hang our hat.
I know.
The ideal.
I know.
Share it with the brothers or whoever, it's a big room, so.
Yeah, you could be the primary.
Yeah, mainly, okay, sure.
Yeah, we'll have an auction. High and bidder.
What tax, Judge, love.
Okay, so I guess Peg, that's really, I think as we move forward from here, we'll probably stay on our cadence. I don't know, maybe we need to go to weekly, but I think if Peg reaches out to anyone here, she's gonna need some help communicating. I urge the whole committee to really respond to that if she needs help.
I can write things, but then I don't know where to put them.
Well, Lonnie, I think, maybe Peg, you and Lonnie, along with Dan, can have a conversation.
Yeah.
Since he modeled the sheet. And Karen?
I want to see his page first because I didn't even know that existed, sorry.
Yeah.
But no, that will just kind of give me an idea of how you did it historically.
Stage from 2018 to 20, it's all that.
Okay. And we'll meet again. I think the three of us will meet again, probably next week. Thank you, Lonnie.
Welcome.
Oh, of all these committees, the groups in a bunch of different committees, anybody that's on a committee or in a department, go back to your committees and departments and say, hey, these crazy people in this building meet every couple of weeks, they'd like to come visit you. And just, a lot of us will get a standard. I'll send out, the pitch that I sent out is pretty close. You could cut, paste and use that.
Well, we all agreed brevity. That was kind of like, get to the point.
5 minutes.
Yeah, well, but not to take up their time.
Yep.
All right.
Anything else that we need to worry about between here and 2 weeks from We should be doing communications out there. Every opportunity we have.
Okay.
Anything else? So we all agree to the, yeah? 3.2, here we go. 13.2.
3.1, 13.2.
I lose the number.
13.2.
13.2.
Rounded number. So we're looking at the 12th for the next meeting?
12 for them.
6:30 here?
Yep, same place, same station. And then we're gonna look for feed you information if you need help anywhere, Peg and Tom, and keep the communication flowing.
I was talking to Dan. Dan's also on the Historic District Commission. So if you're planning on trying to meet with them, he's the guy to talk to.
I did send them an email and I never heard back from
It's
them.
either him or Deb Flanagan. I was off the commission yet somehow my name still appears in all the paperwork. So-
That's right, you can.
Now,
Which is fine.
Uh,
I just don't go to the
FinCom,
meetings.
to the next meeting? FinCom.
We're gonna actually take on here and go there.
Oh, okay, well, all right,
We get it. I think it might.
you can let me know.
Yeah, I think it's still there. Okay, I think that's all I had. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, Mike, see you, Lonnie.
Night all.
Good night.
Good night.
So it's Thursday.
Town hall, yes. You want me to pick you up?
Sure.
Okay, I can do that.
The mouse is not working.
Yeah, could they?
No, I don't mind.
Around the historic commission.
Has passed. I don't know what town he's from.
So we're gonna.
He told me his town sounded positive.